around the world. But the bad performing currencies are in Africa, so I don't know what to say about that. Anyway, the Naira has been classified or categorized or judged to be the worst performing currency in the world. So we've moved from being the best performing currency to the worst performing. No, the Naira moved from being the worst performing currency to being the best performing currency, and then back to being the worst performing currency. What is going on? How can the Naira be rescued? Is there any hope for the Nigerian currency? What are the solutions? I think, I don't know, and I guess who's joining us this morning will tell us how we can rescue the Naira. All right, save the Naira from decline. What the government needs to do, what the authorities need to do, both the oh my, what am I? Yeah, but at the monetary level as well as the fiscal level, what they need to do, because it's a cross pollination, or as a marriage. Each side of the financial divide, or let me say financial administrative governance, they help each other, they work together. So it's very important, very important. Of course, we've spent the morning talking about insecurity, talking about what happened in Borno State. We will still spend the entire day talking about it, but the economy is still front and center of issues. It's still front and center of issues, as well as insecurity, and all of that. So it's important. It's very important. I want your thoughts on this. Please call us on the numbers you usually advertise: 0201 277 0993, 0201 277 1993, 0201 277 2993, and 0201 277 3993. How can the Naira be rescued? And where are those who are saying the Naira is the best performing? Where was it? Was it March? When the Naira was the best performing currency in the world, what happened? How did the Naira go from the best performing currency in the world to becoming the worst performing currency in the world in the first 6 months of 2024? That is a good title. That is something you would hear about Zimbabwe back in the day when Mugabe was having his struggles with the West. That's what you hear about Venezuela when Hugo Chavez was having his final days, and years, and they were struggling under the yoke of sanctions. That is what you expect to see happening in war-torn countries. Maybe in the Palestine region, maybe in Afghanistan, maybe in Iraq, maybe in Libya. But no, right here in Nigeria, a country that is a peace, that has a government, not a failed state, the country, the currency is the worst performing in the world. It was the CBN, and supporters of this administration that kept, tooting the horn and saying, reminding everyone that the Naira is the best performing currency globally. All right. Indeed, they tried, they did some things, but what happened? I remember when the CBN governor spoke, in Washington, D.C., they had this IMF and World Bank spring meetings. You remember those spring meetings where he said that the CBN's foreign exchange reforms are paying off? And indeed, in March, April, the Naira was doing well. The Nigerian currency was doing well. So what happened? How did the Naira move from being in March and April rallying and experiencing massive, movement upwards to where it is today? What happened? All right. And how can the Naira be rescued? Because the more the Naira suffers, the more the Nigerian economy suffers, the more Nigerians suffer. We hear today, customs controller at Semeboda, not today, but he said it a couple of weeks ago, that, the neighboring countries, Nigeria's neighboring countries in West Africa, that export is moving. Export is moving because they're coming into the country to buy Nigerian products. Because of the fall of the Naira, those who are using, for instance, the CFA, they find it cheaper. Nigerian crops, food items, and products cheaper. And so they can come in and buy and go. So he was saying it as a good thing, as a positive for the economy, that Nigerians can export, more now because the currency has lost value and make money from export. But Look at it. Think about it. Think about it. That Benin, Togo, Niger, who else you say for? Cameroon, and all these countries, Cote d'Ivoire, that their currency, they feel is so strong that they'll rather come buy, things from Nigeria and take it back to their country and sell it and make a huge profit. I remember, I travel across the continent from time to time. I go to Ghana, go to Togo, go to Benin Republic, either by air or by road. And I remember the days when the Nigerian currency, if you take it to any African country around you, just cross the border, you feel like a big boy. Because, somehow the currency just is enough. You can take care of yourself. I remember the exact period in time when my Naira could not take me on a vacation in a fellow West African country or African country for me to really enjoy myself and be okay. I remember. So here we are, and the slide has continued. In your opinion, in your thought, what do you think we can do, Nigerians can do, the government can do to stem the slide of the currency, the Naira? Do we need a new currency? Do we need to just create something new? Do we need to revalue the currency? Because I don't know. I think that that could be a strategy, revaluation of the currency. This means that you knock off some zeros. They should just do it. Knock off some zeros. Knock off 3 zeros from the Naira, or even 4 or 5. Knock it off. Yeah. What about that? Let's go back to the phone lines. 99.3, good morning.
Kofi Bartels, once again, this is Watagwan from IKD.
Watagwan, we take one call per listener per show, my brother man.
Okay, great. Should I go on?
Yeah, go on. I'll give you today.
Okay, thanks, man, brother man. Now, not only held, what, powers the value of any currency of the world, of any country on earth, is their reserve. What powers the reserve is the export of that country. You get the point? Nigeria has no reserve on whatsoever. You get the point? Our reserve has gone, and we are spending lavishly. You get the point? So our currency will keep on devaluing until we come to our senses. Good morning, Nigerians.
All right, thank you very much. So hold on, Watagwan.
Yeah.
You're saying that the country's reserve should be improved.
Definitely, bro. That will power our currency valuation. For our currency to have value is our reserve that will make that to happen.
Oh.
And what powers our reserve is our export. Are we exporting anything?
No.
Nothing.
Are you aware that in recent days, Nigeria's external reserve has grown?
From what to what?
It should be about 30-something billion US dollars now.
Does it have an effect on Nigeria? Does it have an effect on the price?
You just said that the reserve should grow, and I'm telling you, it's more than 34 billion naira in recent days. That's what we had.
The growth is only on paper, on their lips. The growth has no effect on Nigeria. It has no effect on the economy.
Well, you just said that the external reserve should increase. That once it increases, that the naira will be stronger. And I'm telling you, it's gone up.
But the naira is not getting stronger.
Hey, why? Why?
The reserve is growing.
Okay, why?
But why is the naira keep on devaluing? That's my question again. You get a point.
All right. So it means that's your theory of reserves may not work.
Nigerians are not getting it right. They sit on that. They get a completely sit on that. If the reserve is growing in reality, it will affect the cost of change on our currency.
All right. Thank you very much.
The economy will get better. That is it.
All right.
God bless you, my brother.
Thank you. I must point out that the following external reserves, some of it is the growth is partly due to the loans that the government is taking. We have 2 callers on Skype. I'll start with Rabuchi Kano. Rabuchi, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Kofi.
Okay.
Good morning.
Good morning. Welcome. Your minute starts now.
Okay. Please, I want to ask. Let me begin by asking you: if you export labor, does it have anything to show up economy or the naira value? Can it add anything to it?
If I export labor,
yes. Like footballers, Nigeria exporting footballers, they earn foreign currency, they bring back some of the money to Nigeria. Does it help to show up
It
the naira?
should, because if they're remitting foreign currency in terms of what do you call it again, US dollars, for instance, or pounds or euros, it should. It should, because it
Okay,
means that
Kofi,
it means that foreign exchange is coming in.
let me now tell you why I asked you that question.
Yeah.
Nigerian politicians and policymakers, they are beguiled by wickedness and ineptitude. Why is it that a country like India is exporting medical health officers, medical doctors, medical disciplines, and nursing disciplines to the whole world?
Right.
And they are taking back foreign currencies to India. Why is it that Nigerian policymakers are very wicked not to allow people that have read medicine and other medical science courses from going abroad to practice? Why are they doing everything to stop them from going? Are you getting what I'm saying? I live in England. I send money back to Nigeria. It is helping to build the economy. Take it or leave it. So why is it that they don't see it as continue training people and making and make the exploitation of labor as part of the government policy?
All right, thank you. That's interesting points you've raised. I want to take a thought of Chinedum. Chinedum, you have to unmute yourself. I believe that's your name. What's your name?
Yeah, you're correct.
From? Okay, where are you listening from, Chinedum?
Oh, you're correct. Chinedum, yes.
Listening from where?
Lagos, Lekki.
Okay, all right, go on, Chinedum.
I chose the Skype option for some wonderful reason. I can't get through to your mobile number. So thanks, Kofi. So my thoughts on this are, so let me beg you. You know, when you said drop 3 zeros, drop 4 zeros, drop 5 zeros, be careful what you wish for. You know, I like the word you used. It's a slide, right? And there was an analysis that was done, and I think in the last 35 to 40 years, everyone who has bet Naira against dollar has lost. So we really need to think about it. You're right. Rebasing the currency is an option, but I think that is one of the more extreme options you take when you can no longer manage the currency. And I want to think that we still can. This is a country of 200 million people. What is our balance of trade? What is our balance of you know, when you look at the difference between imports and exports? The potential in this country is sufficient for us to manage our currency. And another thing to think about is this. Depending on where you are positioned as an economy, it doesn't really matter whether your currency is 100 to the dollar or 1,000 to the dollar. Think about China. They benefit from keeping their currency artificially low because they're a net exporting country.
All right.
So they are heavy on the dollar.
Okay.
So what's our strategy? So we have a number of things to do. Can we build our economy? If you close the infrastructure gap and if you make it easy for businesses to do business, Forex will come in.
All right.
And we'll be able to run the currency. It might even be okay for us to keep the currency where it is, as long as we're getting enough Forex to get raw materials in, to get technology in, and to run the economy. If there are jobs and if the factories are working, I get paid. And then my salary will then match the quality of work I do.
All right. Thank you very much.
Let's be honest.
Thank you very much. I appreciate your time, bro. So you're in favor of rebasing or revaluation, right? Oh,
no.
Okay. Anyway, we have to let him go. He's calling from Lagos with Skype. So I'm sure that you diasporans, you guys have an advantage. Good morning. What's your name? Where are you listening to us from?
Yeah, this is Pastor Ladipo.
All right, Pastor Ladipo. Wait till we go do.
I'm calling from Orile in Sarigom.
Good to have you.
But one of the things I felt we can do to make the Naira to bounce back, first and foremost, let's go after every single person that has looted a penny. You know, when your resources or your treasury is filtered around, you can't gather. There are too many hyenas at the helm of Nigerians affairs.
Hyenas?
Yes.
What are they doing?
Kofi, if you want to know what they are doing, listen to the Obono Blacks interview.
Okay.
You will understand. Secondly, if we are going to get these things right, the government themselves must do away with frivolities.
All right. Thank you very much.
Very important.
Thank you very much. All right, we have a guest in the studio. We just take a couple of minutes before we go for our next commercial. I'd like to introduce our guest on the Morning Crossfire today. He is a venture capitalist, a serial entrepreneur, and he's managing director of Rearden Capital IMG, Segun Ayo-Adebanjo. Good morning to you. It's good to have you on the program.
Good morning. It's a pleasure to be here.
All right, fantastic. I want to just hit it straight up. What needs to be done to halt the Naira's decline?
The major thing, the objective should be obviously full employment. With the objective being to produce locally as much as we consume. That's a big objective.
Full employment.
Actually, that's it. Because the idea is that we need to raise our productivity. So we need to have full employment, have every Nigerian gainfully employed. But that's the overarching philosophy as an aim. You have to have a vision where you're going. It's like starting from first principles. But the very technical things, to your very first question, I think the most immediate thing the government needs to do is change the way FAC is allocated. That's a federal allocation from the federal government.
Yeah.
If you study the Bloomberg report about this, the biggest issue is the balance between demand and supply. And I'm not sure why this has gone on for so long, but the biggest contributor to that, it's actually that the way FAC is allocated.
Imbalance between demand and supply.
Yes, because the federal government is the one that controls the liquidity of the Naira and the demand. So when they say they've liberalized the Naira, they're trying to have real price discovery, but they distort it. Let me explain what I'm trying to talk about. We receive dollar receipts for a lot of our revenue in the country.
Okay. All right.
Right.
So like oil is always
exactly. And that's a big component of what's shared during FAC. What should happen is that those dollar receipts should be allocated to the federal government, states, and local government in the dollars they are received. Now, not as cash, but just an allotment to their CBN account with the CBN. So obviously the rules in Nigeria require that only Naira is spent in the country. So what you then do is you trigger a demand for Naira, where these federal government, the local government, and the state governments have to chase Naira. So what you now have is the CBN through voodoo just determines the equivalent Naira to print or issue for dollars received. So we need to unpack this so what you create is basically too much Naira chasing the dollar with no value component. So once you have Naira printed out that it's not supported by productivity, of course it's going to depreciate. So you already have the productivity that backs that dollar that they've earned, which is what the IOCs do, the oil companies. So that is real value in the dollar. You now allocate that. So the states now to pay salaries and things like that would now have to look for Naira. And that Naira they have to buy from BDCs that the CBN has allocated. So that's a better channel for the CBN to channel dollars into the economy, because there's real price discovery. Someone needs the Naira. So you flip that.
Hold the thought. We'll come back because you have to break that down further for us. Let's pay our bills. We'll be right back.
More talk, news, and sports after this.
To cook correct food, they always give me joy. That's now why anytime when they cook like this, I dey always season them with no cubes. Come add correct vegetables inside. Ugu, tatasheo, shombo, onions. No one I know they put. Now he make my pikin them, they always enjoy my cooking.
Daddy, I never will. I want more.
You summer all your food with correct vegetables. Come season them with no cubes for that ubonge delicious taste. Today, chop better.
Hi there, parents. Did you know that your child may not always get all the nutrients they need from their diet, and some children are picky eaters? This is why you should give your child Well Kids Smart Chewable Tablets, which is a food supplement from Vitabiotics UK. It contains 21 vitamins and minerals to contribute to brain development and support optimum growth. Choose Well Kid for smart kids. It is available in all leading retail pharmacies nearest to you.
No matter waiting, I show you. You show me love.
1, 2, 3, 4.
You show me, you show me, you show me love.
Show some more love
love today with 4 more packs of your favorite Indomie noodles in Indomitable and Super Pack cartons. Also, each Indomitable pack is now 200 Naira, while Super Pack is now 350 Naira. So hurry now. Offer valid till stock lasts.
What takes a plate of jollof rice to the next level of goodness? Is it when it is cooked with no seasoning cubes for that sumptuous taste? Or when you serve it with correct Nigerian salad, cabbage, carrot, lettuce, and a bit of kidney beans?
It's both. Season your jollof with the rich taste of Knorr cubes and serve with plenty of vegetables. So go ahead and elevate your meals. Today, eat for good.
Shape your future at Nile University of Nigeria, Abuja. Choose from our over 90 undergraduate and postgraduate programs across 8 diverse faculties, including health sciences and computing studies. Experience our ultra-modern facilities and seasoned lecturers dedicated to your growth. Apply today at nileuniversity.edu.ng. For inquiries, call 0806 602 7981. Nile University of Nigeria. Your journey to excellence starts here.
Taking a flight isn't just a routine, it's an experience. We don't just fly you to your destination, we offer you value for your money. At ValueJet, we think of your convenience, comfort, and your safety. ValueJet flies to these destinations: Port Harcourt, Abuja, Jos, Lagos, and other locations across Nigeria. To book a flight, go to www.flyvaluejet.com. ValueJet, wings for everyone.
Meals have a way of taking us on a journey. And when you add plenty of vegetables like efo, ugu, and season with the rich taste of Knorr seasoning cubes, even better.
So, go ahead and elevate your meals with more vegetables and the rich taste of Knorr cubes. Today, eat for good.
He done of trading himself. James, hello.
Susan, I beg. Say the wine me.
For where? You who no longer depend solely on your salary.
So you people trade and don't carry us along in this office, Abby?
Jerry, now you they talk like this? Who doesn't want an extra stream of income? But I'm still looking for better trading conditions, I beg. Fast execution of my trades and possibly an account where swap no go carry all my profits where I don't know.
Guy, HFM.com.
For me, I wouldn't mind better spreads at all, and it won't be a bad idea to be able to make withdrawals in a flash.
All we want is transparency and great customer service.
Guys, I said HFM.com.
Which one is HFM.com again?
Switch to HFM today to enjoy ultra-fast execution, 1 to 2,000 leverage, tight spreads, swap-free, and more.
Guy, show us the way now.
Wait, are you sure deposits and withdrawals are sharp?
I said HFM.com. Visit www.hfm.com. HFM, online trading at its finest.
Do you have a low JAM score? No need to waste a year at home. Now University of Nigeria's School of Preliminary Studies offers you an alternative route into the university. Operating in Abuja, Now SPS prepares students for direct entry admission into 200 level at any Nigerian university through JUPEP. Visit sps.nileuniversity.edu.ng or call 0906 906 8447 to apply now.
Here you go, dear.
Mom, you didn't add milk.
No need to. Taste it and see why.
Wow, but how?
Is it milky?
Very.
Is it creamy?
Yes.
That's Milo 3-in-1 milky and creamy for you. It's so milky. I don't need to add more milk.
I love it, Mommy.
Give your kids the new Milo 3-in-1. Milky and creamy. It's truly milky. It contains calcium to help your champ win every day. Milo, energy to go further.
Milo! No matter waiting, I show you. You show me love.
1, 2, 3, 4.
You show me, you show me, you show me love.
Show some more love today with 4 more packs of your favorite Indomie noodles in Indomitable and Super Pack cartons. Also, each Indomitable pack is now 200 Naira, while Super Pack is now 350 Naira. So hurry now. Offer valid till stock lasts.
We're back.
We're back.
We're back.
We're back.
We are back.
We're back on 99.3 Nigeria Info. Live from the heart of Victoria Island, you're listening to your number one station, 99.3 Nigeria Info. This is Morning Crossfire on 99.3 Nigeria Info.
All right, the value of the Naira against major international currencies has continued its free fall. Economists are saying that if the Naira must be saved from imminent collapse, it has to be rescued from the hands of powerful operators in the foreign exchange market. This what was said earlier. The government kept talking about, powerful forces and interests, even saboteurs in the foreign exchange market and all that. Well, the Naira had a rally, what to call it that, in March and April, was adjudged best performing currency in the world. The CBN governor, Yemi Cardoso, went on a tour of, I don't know, on a lap of victory, let's call it that. When he embarked on a lap of victory when he went to the World Bank and IMF spring meetings in April, I believe. Was it in April? And he was able to give interviews and talk about, why the Naira is suffering. So it was adjudged the best currency in the world in March and April. And what the CBN governor said, it was supported by bullish sentiment from leading international investment institutions. He also said the FX market experienced robust activities with turnover reaching levels not seen in over 7 years. So that FX liquidity, I'm sure, was a strategy. But all that don't fall yakata. Because now if he goes to any meeting, he has to tell the press why the Naira is the worst performing currency in the world. The foreign external reserves have gone high. They've crossed the $34 billion US mark. And as we speak, it's about 34.11 billion. Let's get the right figure. More than $34.5 billion is what we're hearing the external reserves are at right now. And we're hearing the central bank saying that that's on the back of increased confidence in the Nigerian economy. That's caused the foreign creditors to give Nigeria more loans. So here today, 1 billion naira, 500 million, and all these billions. What is boosting the external reserves as well as other things. Our guest this morning here to tell us what we need to do, what the government needs to do, what Nigerians need to do to halt the Naira's decline and to halt the Naira slide and basically to rescue the Naira. We have Segun Rex Ayo-Adebanjo is a venture capitalist, serial entrepreneur, and managing director of Rearden Capital IMG.
Correct.
All right. He's Rearden Capital IMG is an incubator firm that founded and developed some of Nigeria's the leading innovative commercial firms and creative enterprises in Nigeria, such as can I mention them? Starside Energy, etc. Prior to founding Rearden IMG, Segun Rex Ayo-Adebanjo was an attorney with Davis Polk and Wardle, Clifford Chance, and Sidley Austin LLP, a Wall Street law firm, or all Wall Street law firms in New York. He earned a BA in philosophy from the University of Ife in Nigeria, and LLB from the University of Buckingham, England, and a JD from Columbia University, New York, where he was a Harlan Fiske Stone Scholar. Did I get it right?
That's correct.
Okay. Yes. And articles editor of the Columbia Business Law Review. So you're a lawyer.
I used to be a lawyer.
And then you went
but
to
I guess
Wall
I was
Street.
a lawyer as well. Yes, I used to practice as a Wall Street lawyer for Wall Street law firm, for Wall Street financial firms.
All right. Interesting. So you were talking about, you said for the Naira's fortunes to be reversed, the government needs to change the FAC method. First, talk about full employment.
Yes.
And then you talk about FAC.
Yes.
Tell us more about that FAC method.
Well, like I said, it's not a one-shot fix. FAC is changing the FAC policy is one of the solutions, but that has the most immediate effect because that affects the demand and supply equilibrium. And that also removes a very perverse incentive. The way FAC is now, we would honestly always get back to this cycle because there's a perverse incentive for every time the government is inundated with its own bills to actually devalue the Naira because it controls the dollars. So it can use more dollars to pay its Naira debt, which impoverishes Nigerians. We are the one paying for the government's profligacy, like all their wasteful spending. That's why there's no discipline in the government itself, because it has Naira dollars. It can always just depreciate the Naira to pay Naira T-bills, which it can offer to the public at 30% interest which is what they're doing now. Like they raise the interest rate, say, oh, please stop attacking the Naira. We'll give you something else to buy. But how else are we going to pay back those T-bills if it's not from our own productivity? So at the point I'm saying is your Naira has to be backed by value. And the value has to come either from what you have in like gold reserves and things like that, but mostly from your productivity of your economy. That's why I said the goal has to be full employment to make sure that we're maximally productive. And that productivity has to be targeted and has a strategy that you strategically substitute the things you import for. So there's a whole, so let me just run through the list, which I had here, which then we can go into details with specific.
All right. Okay.
So firstly, change fact allocation so that you flip to get to real price discovery in terms of demand and supply for Naira and dollars. Secondly, you have
so give the states the USD.
You won't give them the cash, but yes, give them their US. It's their money. You don't make them buy their own money at lesser value, which is what happens if I would explain that. You give them Naira that you determined what the price is by Voodoo. They pay some salaries with that. But most of their projects need imports. So they pay other contractors with Naira. Those contractors now have to source for the dollars to buy some of the materials they need or equipment. And they buy that same dollar, which is a dollar that was just given out in Naira, at lesser value because they now go to the market. So CBN exchanges it, say, okay, it's 90 to 1. You get 90,000 Naira for $100. You now give it to a contractor who now has to buy that same $100 back, but he's buying it at the market at 1,500 to 1. So the value of that same dollar, he's buying maybe like 40% of it. So it's just, and he's now created excess demand for dollar, which is what I call a phantom demand. It's not real demand because you're just buying the same thing you already had. And that already has a deleterious, negative effect on the value of the Naira. But let me go through the whole list because this one needs to be unpacked.
So give the states and local governments USD directly. Don't give them Naira.
Yes, in their accounts because they can't spend USD obviously in the local economy. So they are forced to change that dollar to Nairas to pay salaries and most of their expenses. And that creates demand for the Naira. So the Naira begins to appreciate.
So you look Naira looking for dollar looking for Naira.
Exactly. And the dollar is looking, the dollar is produced from the same CBN account of the state, who is now goes to the BDCs are now holding Naira, right? So the way the BDCs get Naira is from that dollar that they're selling on behalf of the states because it's a real demand. So you have real price discovery. So we can all start from that baseline and say this is the real value of the Naira. But also we have FX in the ground in terms of gold and our mineral resources. We don't expose that. We have two things to our advantage. We have FX in the ground, like I said, and we have mass population of able-bodied men. We should develop a gold rush in Nigeria where all the men you see on the street corners looking idle and unemployed should have a way to take their destiny in their own hands and go and seek for gold.
So
now this gold,
you're saying that the federal government should open mining.
Yes, you open specific mining sites out. Obviously, you'd have the one where businessmen are developing, but you have specific mining sites where anybody can just pick up a team, get some training in artisanal mining, and go source for gold. Now, that gold...
There'll be a stampede.
There should be. That's what you want. First of all, everyone... It creates an economy in itself. You think about it, that's how the U.S. itself developed. There was a gold rush in California and places like that, which develops an economy. There's a local market, people selling stuff. But when you discover gold, there's excitement. And even if it's just a distraction value, it ebbs insecurity. You know, think about what that would have a knockoff effect for insecurity. But it is real money because when people will find gold, because there is gold, and they will become rich from their own muscle. But they sell all that gold to a government agency. So the government has a chance to now sell it on the international. They're doing some of that now. The difference is they're still limiting it to what people are doing on their own. There should be an organized way to do this where it's in scale so that everybody in Nigeria, in fact, you're talking in Lagos or Zamfara,
wherever you find
yeah, let's head to
it.
Oshun, Zamfara, because my brother just discovered there should be a psychological effect where there is energy in the economy in the country because people are going to seek their fortunes, right? And that gold, we now back up the Naira as gold reserves in the CBN, a big chunk of it, because the gold is there. It's just not being monetized in a way that
lithium and all the sort of
lithium, titanium, all the other things that are suitable to artisanal mining, because and then you get like big training sessions for people to do this artisanal mining in the most productive way. And it's not hard. You basically have the same barbed wired fence. If you see the U.S. government, some areas of the border, they use this barbed wired fence. You can fence off. It won't cost you that much to fence off a huge mining area, to channel the miners into that area. When they're coming out, each of them will have an NIN card. Think about it. They'll pay taxes.
Okay. So it'll be a zoned.
Exactly. They'll pay taxes. There'll be soldiers, everything around there. It's organized, right? And it serves our purpose. Just even announcements of things like the FAC allocation and this opening up mining to the whole country in selected sites creates a knock-on effect, even psychological, to the Naira. People now know what's coming. Thirdly, you invest heavily in things that engage mass production, mass employment,
okay.
Security and education, right? It doesn't matter even if you borrow money to fund this. That is very productive, because all those people who are engaged will go on and buy goods at that level. So you want to triple the pay of our security agencies, policemen, and all of that, and triple or even quadruple their numbers, so that if the country is secure, it has such a knock-on effect. I don't know why.
But the president said it some time ago, and people laughed at him.
No, he wasn't. No, it's just the way he said it, because he said people got distracted with what does it take? Agbado. Of course, he was correct on that.
He was correct.
Absolutely.
I knew he was correct.
Because fundamentally, you need.
He was correct.
He was correct.
Maybe I can just put it out for people to just refresh our memories.
Well, let me go through the whole list, because this all ties in together.
Yeah.
Right.
So, but you're saying he was right.
He was absolutely right on that. You need security as a fundament, and we have people to. But he was even thinking 150 and just the army.
How many are you thinking?
As you see, the thing is, it goes from local police to state to federal. It depends on what the need is. So basically, and when you triple the pay, you should actually have, this is why I said the goal is full employment. You should actually have all able-bodied men, graduates first, because I have this emphasis on hiring graduates, because you want to improve the quality of our security agencies. And all these graduates who are idle, maybe a lot having to do Yahoo, or if you go to all our gutters, you see them with all these drinks. Obviously, you can see psychologically our youth are being damaged. They have no outlet. So you think about it, let there be a mining boom, great employment opportunities with security, because you're just going to hire a whole lot of people, train them.
Where are the jobs going to come from?
Security is a job.
Who's going to pay them?
The government.
From which money?
Even if it borrows, that's what I'm saying. You have to understand economics.
Borrow to pay.
Yes, that is productive, because whatever you're paying them, they're still going to buy goods. The reason why you have a lot of these foreign companies leaving who create consumer goods, because there's no one to buy. They've killed demand. So once people are gainfully employed, it doesn't matter that, first of all, the money will come, because it's a virtuous cycle.
How are they going to get the money to pay back the loan?
Like, you have money you can always get from, either it's from borrowing. You think about it. The problem is how they're spending the money. They're borrowing money now for infrastructure, right? They will spend 13 billion on Lagos Calabar Road that probably doesn't have a gestation period of God knows how many years. Firstly, no development occurs with infrastructure. It's people that develop. It's your people you want to develop. You want them to all be gainfully employed and productive. And the foundations for that are, you need to sort out security for starters, because obviously then it has a knock-on effect, and you sort out power. So once you do security and education is also important, because you're improving the skill sets of the people, which increases the value of their productivity. And so all these things pay for themselves. You have to understand. Don't just keep saying, where with the money? The money is, even if you have to print it. Forget even borrowing.
Is that not where we are? Where we are today?
No. They're printing it for the more frivolous things. If you print it, because that's how you do in the U.S. They print money to match their productivity. So if you're doing print productive, being a policeman, it is productive. It's not frivolous at all, because that also has a knock-on effect, because you then have demand, empowered demand to buy things, which then encourages people to produce things and hire more people.
Okay.
But let me continue through that.
Yeah.
And then you now focus on, like I said, import substitution things, particularly things like rail and power. Rail is another big opportunity to massively employ people. We should actually engage the army, train them, and actually recruit the way the Chinese did it before it now becomes. I don't support this idea, which you can, of just outsourcing it to.
Okay, building the rail tracks.
Yes.
Okay.
And the 3 rail tracks that are key are the east to west rail lines from Lagos to Calabar, Ilorin to Yola, and Sokoto to Maiduguri. And we can do that. Obviously, you'd have an expert company, either even as a Chinese, to supervise technically and the quality control of that.
Yeah, but some of the terms that they give, to probably give loans for these rail projects says that you must employ their people. So you have hundreds, thousands of Chinese.
Yes, that people only need to be
sites.
employed on the technical level. You can't employ them for just physical labor. Even that wouldn't work. And that is even can be solved. If the Chinese won't do it, I'm sure they will. But if they won't, there are tons of other people who you pay them for their technical. In fact, you do construction that way all the time.
Yeah.
You'd hire a Julius Berger. It would hire its German experts, but the actual labor is done by trained Nigerians. And that's what you want to do. You want to physically have Nigerians lay those rules, and we have the numbers. A lot of our people up to our villages, go to there, you see the youths, they're just in corners drinking. You can engage these people to feel their own self-worth is developed, and they add to the economy. Right. So you do that with rail. And then with power, you also need to change the dynamic in the power equation, right? Because now you use rail to develop your iron and steel industry. Like that would be based off developing Ajaokuta and like the Shagamu steel complex. So you think about just in that in itself, you're already industrializing the country.
But can government employ everyone? Because if
you do these things, you will.
A capitalist will say, and the free market will say, government has no business in business.
That's not business. Government is a catalyst for business.
Yeah, but government should be creating enabling environment and not getting involved in employment.
No. First of all, in any country, the government is one of the biggest employers anywhere in the world. So that's some kind of fallacy. I don't know what you mean by that. But the thing is, what is the government employing? Not in business. It's in developing infrastructure for business to leverage. And I'm talking about rail, right? For instance, like any other country, America, China, all of that was built by government. So I don't say there's no argument in this case.
About security.
Security is also the government.
What about employing them in income-generating activities like manufacturing, agriculture?
No, that's for the private sector.
Agriculture?
Agriculture is even private sector as well. Right. But the agriculture and all that, they need the rails. That's what incentivizes them to produce at the lowest cost, both for export and for the local market. So, like I keep saying, you have to start from a framework that the goal is full employment. There's no magic to it. These things are not rocket science. It's pretty straightforward. It's the goal, even in the US, everywhere. The government is full employment is one of the goals of the Federal Reserve. Okay, so you go on with rail and things like power, right? So you've done rail and security. You now go to power. With power, I think what you want to do is you want to liberalize the power sector completely. You let power companies charge whatever they can, particularly to businesses, but on the condition that within set hours of the day, they provide power to residences and street lights.
But that's what's happening right now, and Nigerians are groaning.
No. Listen to how I say you have to tie it to a specific target objective. What you do is if you liberalize them to charge whatever they want, they will concentrate on businesses, right? Businesses who are productive. So your employment will grow. They would grow and they will hire more people. But your people also get power for what they need. Let me explain. So within the hours of like maybe 7 p.m. and 10 p.m., first of all, the patches are really short. So you shift the power distribution to residences so people can iron their clothes, recharge their phones, get ready for work the next day. And this will create a market also for rechargeable devices like rechargeable fans. So people who are entrepreneurs will go into that market. So you have power either between 7 and 10. You cool your AC or cool your fan, and then like 5 and 7 in the morning to get the kids ready for school.
How will that affect the exchange rate?
When your productivity increases because of you've had most of the industry, of course.
But they're giving us, I can say 24-hour power supply. With this Band A thing, but Nigerians are paying exorbitantly. Do you know how much I spend on Band A every month? Should I tell you?
Like I said,
are you on Band A, sir?
I have to check.
Okay.
It's not, like I said, the cost is going to come down once the power companies can price at a reasonable rate to expand capacity. It's just going to happen. The point is, you can't give a solution that doesn't have an end in sight.
Sir, right now, some Nigerians are turning off their lights. They have the light, but they can't afford it. They're turning it off.
I have to ask you, what is the light being used for? You have to start from that.
At home. They can't afford it.
That's not necessarily the most productive use of it. You have to start with the most productive use of the power. That's how you earn income. You have to do it that way. Otherwise, they're just going to keep sinking. The power is generated at a cost. It's not going to come from magic.
But you just said they should provide power supply, but increase it, make it realistic, liberalize it, open it for the distribution companies to charge what they want to charge.
To businesses, you have to be. I'm being very specific here. It's a targeted approach.
Okay.
You should let businesses, whether it's whatever big manufacturer, and they too have a market. Pressure demand to keep that price low, because businesses will go for alternatives like solar or whatever. But you want individuals, I was getting to this, you want to also boost solar power and renewable energy for individuals. That's the best thing to serve individual and small business markets. So you reduce, first of all, you create incentives for the local production of solar panels, inverters, and batteries. So people now can even store some of the power that is available between, like I say, 7 and 10. So they extend it overnight, because you have to look at the whole nation as just starting again. You're kick-starting the economy. So the more you do this, first of all, you have served the huge demand by creating demand, i.e. for solar panels and things like that, locally produced employment. But that meets most people's needs. I used to be in the solar industry. One of the key companies in Rearden was solar, so I know what I'm talking about. That can meet everybody's need at cost.
Okay.
So
we're running out of time. I think we have to do a part 2.
Okay.
Of this conversation, because it's a serious issue that needs to be addressed. I lost that call there. A message here on Facebook says, if we're going to get this right, then let us all work with a minimum wage. I mean, from top to bottom, those senators and politicians, they should be paid with a minimum wage. Okay, I hope you understand what minimum wage is. Festus Precious, thanks for your message. Hello, good morning. Very quickly, your name and contribution, please.
Yeah, good morning, Kofi. Good morning to your guests in the office. My name is Ayo-Adebanjo.
Welcome.
Just a quick one. You see, what this man has been trying to explain, I think you need to give him time to really land. We're talking of a framework. He's trying to create a framework. And, the problem that I see with most Nigerians, we are looking for quick fixes. So we have to, if we really want to save ourselves from the mess we've gotten ourselves into, we need to think out of the box.
All right, thank you.
Creative.
Thank you. All right. Well, I think I've been allowing you to land, but also asking you questions based on what you're saying. But we finally, before we go.
Yes. I think he makes a very important, and that's really why I was here. It's that framework of how we do it, and it's pretty much guaranteed of success. So like I said, with the solar thing too, part of why you're giving them the license to charge whatever for power is they have to also power street lights. One thing we're wasting is the nighttime economy. So if you have security...
Does the distribution company should power the street lights?
Yes, as part of the license where you permit them charge whatever they can.
Free of charge?
It doesn't have to be free of charge, but maybe at a very low rate, right? Mm-hmm. So it's a win-win. They can charge whatever they are for businesses, and the street lights on the aggregate probably doesn't take that much, but it has an effect where so many people can you now have like three cycles to your economy, and it happens, we are cheating ourselves by not having enough of that nighttime economy.
Wow.
It's very important.
We're out of time.
Okay.
We have to do part 2. You have a lot. But I like the idea of street light. Segun, Rex, Ayo-Adebanjo, it's been a pleasure having you.
Okay, it's a pleasure being here.
All right. We'll do this again.
All
we'll
right,
do this again.
Well.
Nigeria. 99.3 Nigeria Info. We are more than just radio. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Nigeria Info FM. Check us out on Facebook at Nigeria Info 99.3. Follow us on Twitter at Nigeria Info FM and on Instagram at Nigeria Info FM Lagos for live updates as it happens. 99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.